Good morning. This is Eric Lofholm. I want to welcome all of you to our 15-minute daily motivational call. Happy Friday on this beautiful Friday morning. It's great to be with all of you here this morning. I want to welcome those of you that are here on Facebook Live. If you're on Facebook, type in below. Let us know, where are you joining us from? We also have another group that's on our conference call line. So you can do this call live by joining on Facebook, or you can dial in over the phone. And I saw Dave in Vegas joined us. Good morning, Dave. Nice to see you. Joe. Good morning, Joe. Bobby. Great to see you, Bobby. Thanks for joining us on this beautiful Friday morning. Karen, great to have you here this morning to kick off our Friday. To have a great day. Keith, good morning. Nice to see you from San Diego. Harumi, Columbus, Indiana. Gina, good morning, Gina. Nice to see you here on this beautiful Friday morning. Renee from Los Angeles. Renee, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to the call. Great to have you here this morning. Crystal, Sacramento area. Hey, Crystal. Nice to see you. And Ashley in Reno. Good morning, Ashley. Wonderful to have you here this morning. I used to live in Reno. Ashley, I used to live in the Mountain Shadow apartment complex. I don't know if they still call it that, but over off of Handlery, I think that's the name of it, and Longley over there. Neil, good morning. Nice to see you, Neil. Janie in Long Beach, welcome. Bill in Daly City. Hi, Bill. Nice to see you. Harry in Atlanta. Hey, Harry, good morning. Marcus, good morning. Marcus, keep taking action on that vision to build your brand in your community. Ivy, good morning, Ivy. Happy Friday. Nice to see you. Francine, good morning. Francine, great job on those health goals. Chuck in Florida. Nice to see you, Chuck. Jada, great to have you here in class today. Yep, Ashley, that's right where I was back in 1992, 93, 94 is when I lived in Reno. All right. Let's see here. Wilma. Hey, Wilma. Nice to see you. Lisa, my good friend. Lisa down in LA. Nice to see you. Ro, good morning, Ro. Great to have you here on this Friday morning. Ron in New Mexico. Thanks for joining us. Lyle. Hey, Lyle. Great to have you here this morning. Stella, good morning, Stella. Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to continue on our closing topic, and today's class 3 of 3. If you missed class 1 or 2, you can catch those at dailymotivationalcall.com. We also put them up on YouTube. It's on Podbean, iTunes, a lot of different places that we populate this call. Grace in North Carolina. Grace, nice to see you. Tom in Orlando. Hey, Tom, thanks for joining us. Angel down in San Diego. Angel, good morning. Henry in Wyoming. Hi, Henry. Tiffany, nice to see you, Tiffany. All right. Leslie, good morning, Leslie. Nice to see you. All right, well, let me get our call started here. We're going to jump into our program today. And I'm in a different location, and where I'm at right now, it's kind of interesting because this is actually the garage. That's our car over there. So I'm down in the garage. We're in a vacation home in Santa Cruz. My wife is turning 50 on Monday. I turned 50 back in September, so we both have birthdays this year. And so we are doing a little family event, celebrating, but I wanted to do our morning call here. So everybody's up there, they're all sleeping, but we're going to jump in and we're going to get started on our morning call here. All right, let's see here. Let me get the recording going. There we go.
The recording has started.
Good morning. This is Eric Lofholm. I want to welcome all of you to our 15-minute daily motivational call. It's wonderful to be with you here this morning. Great job for showing up for class. If you're right-handed, take your right hand, If you're left-handed, take your left hand, pat yourself on the back and tell yourself, great job for being in class today. And you might be wondering, Eric, why do you always have us pat ourselves on the back? What is that all about? Well, I believe that you should be your number one cheerleader. And in my experience of doing this work for several decades, what I've found is a lot of people are hard on themselves. They have negative self-talk. And the reason why people are hard on themselves and they have negative self-talk is because it's a pattern of how they talk to themselves. And it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just that when you were younger, you got in the pattern of being hard on yourself, and we do life in patterns. So I am here to have you break the pattern, because I have not seen one shred of evidence that negative self-talk increases performance. All it does is make you feel bad, and it erodes your self-esteem. So instead of having negative self-talk, we are a cheerleader for ourselves. And you're doing something awesome today. You're putting yourself in the mindset, you're setting the intention that you're going to have a great day. And that's an awesome thing that you're doing for yourself. So you don't want to blow this off and go, oh, it's no big deal that I'm here. It's a huge deal, right? It's a huge deal because we're like planting a flag in the ground saying, today, Friday, I think Friday's it's the 13th, Friday the 13th, okay? So we're planting a flag that we're going to have a great day today. We're going to have a great day with intention. So I got this awesome quote yesterday. Brian Tracy gave me a testimonial. And I was expecting it, but I wasn't. So I was in communication with Brian Tracy's executive assistant over email. And I let her know that I was wanting this testimonial for Brian. And so she said, send me what you're wanting to communicate to Brian. And, Brian's semi-retired right now. So, I'll do my best for you. So this was a ways back. I sent this message. And yesterday, Brian sent me this beautiful testimonial. And he referred to me as the thought leader. And that was just it made me feel so good to be acknowledged by Brian in that way. Today, we're talking about closing. So how did I get that testimonial? And the answer is I asked. And, Brian, he's a big deal in my world. He's helped millions and millions of people all over the world. One of the top speakers of all time. So that was an example where I was swinging for the fences, okay? And so sometimes, guys, you want to swing for the fences. Sometimes you're just going to, go after deals that are the normal size deals that you go after, the prospects that you prospect, and the accounts that you go after. But guys, sometimes you want to swing for the fences, and you want to pursue an opportunity. In my world, like a Brian Tracy, that's a big deal, right? You want to go after those larger size opportunities. And this is something that Jay Abraham, another one of my coaches, told me one time. Is he said, you want to go after those home runs and those grand slams. Not all the time, but occasionally, because every once in a while you're gonna connect and you're gonna hit one. So I want to encourage you to do that. So today we're gonna talk some more about closing by fine-tuning your presentation skills. So if you're with me in class 1 and class 2, we talked about objection handling yesterday. We talked about my 3-step system, sales model, sales mountain, sales script. And you want to internalize that system, because that system can make you a small fortune. Sales model, sales mountain, sales script. So today we're going to talk about fine-tuning. So one way that you can fine-tune your presentation, always remember this, that everything counts. Okay, in a sales presentation, everything counts. So how do you get better at closing? It's not just improving the closing. You want to improve the beginning of the presentation. You want to improve the body of the presentation. You want to learn these little techniques that make your presentation more persuasive. And we end up with these micro improvements. Okay, so I'm going to give you a micro improvement right now. This might get you a little bit better. And it has to do with being intentional with your trust and rapport. And when you start off the presentation, the very first thing that you always want to do, if you're running my system, you always want to lead with trust and rapport. All right? And I role modeled that on this call. You know, if you come to the call a little bit early, we start the call at 7:45, but if you come a little bit early, I say good morning, right? And Ashley said good morning, and she said good morning from Reno today. And I was like, I used to live in Reno. So I was creating a connection with Ashley over common ground. Common ground being where she lives, I used to live there. And she said, well, when did you live there? And I told her, and she said, oh, I was there at the same time. So we both, who's on the call right now, Ashley and I were living in Reno, Nevada at the exact same time. And so common ground is a rapport principle. Okay? So why does rapport matter? Well, when you're in rapport with somebody, they're more open to your suggestions. They're more open to buying from you. They're more open to your viewpoint. So if you're selling a product like life insurance, they might start off the presentation resistant to life insurance. So you've got to deliver this presentation and pivot their thinking. We got to pivot their thinking, right? When I sell sales scripting services, people usually don't start off when they first meet me and go, yes, I need to learn how to write a sales script. Most people that I meet, when I start off with them, they're like this. They're like, I don't want a sales script. But then after I take them through my presentation, they're like, oh my gosh, I want a sales script. So I pivot their thinking in my presentation. Human beings respond in predictable ways. So when I pivot somebody's thinking about scripting, I have a presentation that produces that result. So I can do it again and again and again and again and again. You can put me with any salesperson anywhere in the world or put me with a group of salespeople. And by the end of the time I'm with them, there's a really good possibility they're going to be excited about sales scripts. Why? Because of my sales script that I used to sell sales scripting. So what does that all mean? That means work on your repetitive presentations. If you're a real estate agent, you have a listing presentation, you have a buyer presentation. If you're in network marketing, you have a product presentation and a recruiting presentation. If you're a coach, you have a coaching enrollment script presentation. If you're selling consulting, you have a consulting presentation. The solar person sells solar. It's a repetitive presentation, like the comedian who goes on tour. They go to Chicago, they do their routine in Chicago. They go to Atlanta, Georgia, they do their routine in Atlanta. They go to LA. It's the same comedy routine, city to city to city. When Billy Joel goes on tour, or any musician, they have the same song set that they pretty much play city to city to city. In other words, it's a repetitive concert. Why do we want to do that? Because that's where you can get good. That's where you can get great. That's where you can master it. If you're a real estate agent, it's within your grasp, it's within the realm of possibility that you can master your listing presentation, which for a real estate agent, that's probably worth $100,000 to $1 million to you. Mastering your listing presentation is worth an extra $100,000 to $1 million to a real estate agent, because you're going to close at a higher ratio. But most realtors don't think like that. They think, oh, well, I do open houses and I do prospecting. Yeah, I do this listing presentation. I do this, I do that. They have no priority on working towards mastery of the listing presentation. So me as a teacher, part of my job is to get you fired up about working on your sales skills. Why? Because the sales conversation is one of the most profitable conversations that you'll ever have in your life. Of anything that somebody could talk to you about, getting better at sales, Keith, is probably one of the 3 most profitable conversations you could ever have. So if you want to make more money, this is the conversation to be in. Now, you could be in an investment conversation. There's other conversations that are profitable. But this is one of the most profitable conversations you could ever have. So I love chess. I've never studied chess towards becoming a master of chess. It's within the realm of possibility that I could. Why haven't I? Because if I became a master of chess, it's kind of like, cool, but so what? How is that going to help me in my life? Right? I play chess for fun. I could get better if I chose to. I've never chosen to. But if you do these things I'm telling you guys to do, it's going to move the needle. it's going to move the needle, guys. Some of you want to make six figures, and the only reason you're not is you just don't have the skill set yet. I was a student of Brian Tracy, still am, but I was a student in the mid-90s is when I met him by going to his seminar. He didn't know who I was. And now, 23 years later, he's referring to me as a thought leader. It's like, how do I go from entry-level student to him referring to me as a thought leader? I worked on my skill sets. One micro improvement at a time. One micro improvement at a time. Okay, the next thing you can do to get better at selling and closing is you can use a technique called an agenda script. An agenda script is where you let the prospect know early on in the presentation how your presentation is going to go. So it goes like this. What I'd like to do now is share with you how our appointment's going to go today. First, I'm going to ask you some questions to find out what's most important to you about the sale of your home. Then I'm going to share a market analysis of what other properties like yours have sold for. Then I'm going to share my vision of how I'll successfully market and sell your home. Then at the end of our time together today, you'll have the opportunity to hire me as your real estate agent if you feel comfortable, and if not, then no problem. Sound good? That's the agenda script I would use if I was a professional real estate agent. How often would I use it? Every time. That's an agenda script, okay? So you go, all right, ask your brain the question, does that apply to me? Could I use that technique in my presentation? Now, if I went a little faster than you could process all of it or write it down, just go back and watch the replay. That's why we study. You go back and watch the replay. Side note, for those of you that are Platinum Protege members, our monthly mastermind, our virtual mastermind is next Friday. So one of the benefits of Platinum, every Friday, the third Friday of the month, we have virtual mastermind, and that's a lifetime membership benefit. All right, here's your next technique. When you sell, we'll wrap with this idea. When you sell, you're going to have your system like I'm training you. But sometimes the prospect doesn't want to go through the system. So this gentleman called up my company one time. His name is Greg. And he was talking to one of my sales reps. And he told my sales rep, he goes, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to Eric. He was kind of forceful. So I got on the phone with him. And he's like, yeah, I'm looking for a speaker for one of my conferences. And so I was like, all right. And I start taking him through my sales process. And he basically, I don't even remember exactly how he said it, but he's like, I don't want to go through your sales process. I'm looking for a speaker and I want a proposal. All right. So I stopped my process. I said, so what you're saying, Greg, is you're looking for a speaker for one of your conferences and you want a proposal. He said, bingo, you got it. I said, okay. Greg, why don't I put a proposal together for you and I'll send it off to you and then we can go from there. He goes, Eric, that sounds great. So I was listening to him. Normally I would take him through a 2-call close. I'd meet with them, I'd gather all this information, I'd meet with him a second time, and then I'd deliver the proposal for me being a speaker. But he point blank told me, I don't want that. Okay, no problem. So I aborted my strategy and I just sent him the proposal and he said yes. $18,000 contract, yes! Because I listened. Now, normally I take them through my process. If I'm a real estate agent, I'm going to take them through my listing presentation process. But if the prospect is crystal clear they don't want that, then I want to listen. So today's bonus video, it's a how-to training on closing. It's just 5 minutes long. It's a really solid training on closing. Me in a live seminar, I recorded on video. And by the way, there was a videographer that day at the conference. This was back in South Carolina. So I fly to South Carolina, I deliver the seminar, and there's a videographer there, and he shoots the video. I didn't pay the videographer. He was just there. So I said to him, just out of curiosity, could I get the footage? He said, sure. So that's where the footage is coming from, the video that I'm sending you today. So I got the footage. Why? Because I asked. You want to become a master of asking? I got the footage. I got a video I can send you today because I asked. Ask. So if you want the bonus video, send me a text or an email, 916-626-1945, or email me at eric@ericlofholm.com. Ask me for today's bonus video, and I'll send it to you. As we wrap up, I want you to know you have greatness inside of you. Crystal in Sacramento Crystal, you have greatness inside of you. It is wonderful to see you in class today. Grace, it's wonderful to have you in class. Grace is living proof of the power of micro improvements. She's been in the conversation with me for many years, and she just gets a little bit better. Well, guess what, guys? Lately, she's been having some tremendous breakthroughs. She's doing more prospecting than she's ever done. Okay? Carmen told me the other day, Carmen, who regularly calls in and listens to this call, she told me, she said, Eric, I did 5 prospecting touches today. I said, awesome. And is that an improvement over what you normally do? She said, yes. Okay, micro improvement. Ruben, you and I go way back. Great to see you in class today, Ruben. Ruben, you have greatness inside of you. That's going to wrap our call. Bill in Daly City. Bill, you're going to have a great day today. You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.